Hi guys, I'm here for card 2 of the Change is Beautiful April 2022 paper pumpkin kit. We're going to make this card, and I think you could see the shimmer I got on there. I've got a fun product that I've found at a crafting expo thing that I'm going to put on there, but I'm going to show you an alternate idea to use that with a Stampin' Up! Product for that. But here's the card that we're going to make using the bits and pieces left over from the first card that I made. So you're going to start with an 11 by 4 1/4 inch piece, score it at 5 1/2, or just fold it in half to get your base. I then have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch basic white that we're going to work with. And we're going to use part of the envelope that's left over. So we're going to cut down the envelope, cut right at that score line that I cut off from the last time. Now we're going to try and cut that off best that we can. Little tiny smidge just to get it off there, to have a smooth edge. And then I'm just going to cut along at where the envelope is. I guess I'm going to fold that back because we want as much as we can get of it to decide, you know. And I don't think I'm going to get close enough with this trimmer, so I'm going to bring in my other little trimmer. Just want to cut that edge off. I'm going to do the same thing over on this one. I'm going to fold it back. Try and cut it just to get that little edge off. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten it. So we're going to cut that little curvature off and end up with this piece. And now you can decide for yourself how much of a border you want, but I used this piece, and you could get away with just using this piece if you want. But then I came and I cut off from my card just to the other side of where I trimmed out that bud, so that I'm maximizing my polka dotty. And then I'm cutting just to the edge of where my stitched rectangle cut out. Like so. And so what I did was I trimmed it to fit. So this would be this was 4 inches wide, so I would trim this to 3 3/4, and then I set this up against there to see if I had enough space. So you can use both of these, but take this piece and run your bone folder around on it. Go in circles, go back and forth on both sides, and that will help to get that fold out. So on these cards, if you cannot crease on the fold till you're ready for them and you know what you're going to make with it, that will help a lot too. But you could just go through. You can, here's my foamy thing. I'm going to try and see if that helps with a little bit of the give underneath, to try and redo this score line so that it's going to kind of, I'm going to say, disappear. It kind of works, and it works good enough because we're going to cover part of it up. So kind of scrubbing it out. And we're going to have the majority covered up, so we can just overlap that. So I will use these two pieces and I'm going to cut them to 3 3/4. Like this. Cut that off. And, you know, this is pretty, so save it. We might have a use for it. We're going to go ahead and glue these on. And if you're not a big fan of the crease through the paper, then by all means, just get a piece of Bermuda Bay and cut it to fit. Or the Granny Apple Green is a coordinating color. Just cut a color that's going to fit in there in your space that you're trying to fill. I'm putting this on crooked, or else I cut crooked. So I'm just trying to straighten out my edge there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this onto the bottom. I'm going to overlap just a smidge to get the space filled that I want, or you can trim it exact and like butt it up against there. So actually, no, I'm going to overlap it. I'll just overlap a smidge. So I'm going to glue this down. Find my edge here on that paper, and then figure out how much of a space you want down at the bottom. And I'm a little, just a tinch too wide, but maybe nobody will notice. So now we've got our base built. You can go ahead and glue this on now. Or you can keep building the rest of the card on top of it, but I just had a horrible thought that I wasn't recording, and this kit only has 3 cards of each design, and I got this one and I'm using the second one, and then I need the third one for Paper Pumpkin Day. So I had a horrible thought that I ran out of card supplies. All right, so now we're going to take the rest of this card, and I'm going to cut right up next to these leaves of this big pink flower. I had to alter the design from what I wanted it to be, because these pieces end up to be pretty big and you don't want to cut them down too much. So I'm going to cut right to the leaves on both sides. And so we're at about 2.5. And see, I wanted to make this into a tag, but my tag punch wasn't wide enough to go across. And then it's too wide on the paper to do what I wanted to do with it. So this is what we got. But I think this turned out really cute. So now we're going to come through with this one. This one is 2.5. And I went ahead and left this piece the same. This one's a little bit wider than the one I got down there, but that's okay. So we're going to just cut the flowers off. Then we're going to come through and we're going to glue this piece down flat to our card base, but at an angle. So kind of put it all like kitty wampus on there. You can hang over the white if you want. You can put it way up in the corner and hang off both if you want. I'm going to pull it down just a smidge. And since this one is, I'm just going to lay it on there and show you. Then this one's going to come through at another angle. So kind of eyeball what it's going to look like, and determine how far angled you want it to be. So I'm going to glue this. Oops, I did. Sorry, I just got a phone call buzz through and I threw me off. So I'm going to glue that down, and then now this piece we're going to pop up. But first, what you want is your wink of Stella. Okay? You're going to use your wink of Stella and then come in and glitter up your leaves in your flower. And then that gives you the same effect of what I did with mine somewhat. And then go ahead and do your flowers. And then that gives us the shiny element to this piece of paper. But what I've got to show you is I got this product at the Novi Mega Meet, and it's called Glitter Kiss, and it's the flavor, the color is Frosty Sparkle Kiss. And then you take your sponge out of there, and your sponge is supposed to be wet, and so, yeah, it's still wet. So you just unscrew the cap, and I can get some. You get your glitter into the sponge, wipe it off because you don't need it all, and then you just start swirling around, and it spreads the glitter around. Now this is different than that other Sizzix paste that I used a couple weeks ago. That gives dimension. This just puts the color or the glitter like onto the project. It is kind of giving a little bit of making the paper a little kind of wet feeling, but we just laid down a layer. Let me see if I can, a layer of glitter. I guess it's not really showing up, so I didn't put it on all that thick. You could put on more layers if you wanted, but it laid down. Can you see it on the paper? And it's a like a paste, a glue, I guess. It dries on there. I'll show you some more. I just wipe it on. You can go in circles. You can wipe it. You can dab it. You know, a little dabble do you. Dab it where you want it to thicken it up. But that was, I found the lady, I don't remember what booth she was selling this, and the girls and I got a couple of them that do like Bible journaling, and the stuff was beautiful on the Bible journaling, and Patty and I thought how great it would be to use it for some effects on cards. So we got the glitter, and then I got another color too but now that I put another layer on there, you should really be able to see that glitter in there now. So that was what I used to glitter up the page. And then I just used some dimensionals, and it's dry really quick. The paper is a little like moist, so you'll want to put your dimensionals down. I would suggest maybe if you wait until the paper is all dry, or use like something like this. This is probably overkill, but it will keep it from curling up and on your paper. But if you can wait until it's all dry, that would work too, because then you can control the paper. So I'm finishing this up here, so I'm going to put it on. And then I put this one on sideways on here on the top layer. And like I said, it's a little bit wet, but now I got it on there, so we're good. So I'm just gonna let that rest. And my card has one of the flags from the embellishment pages that's in there. They look like this. I used one of the flag pieces out of here. And then I just used black ink, and I use Happy and Heartfelt, And I grabbed the congratulations out of here, but there's a thank you. There's all kinds of different sentiments in that whole set that you can use. And again, I just used the Memento Black, Tuxedo Black. Can pull that off my foamy thing because I got red rubber here with the foam underneath, so I don't need any extra cushioning. We're going to hope that's straight and press down. And then I popped up the under the pink part with a dimensional. And then I just put it across the top area. And then I did put a little bit of adhesive on the tip of the flag part just to keep it down, but you don't have to if you don't mind that it might pop up a little bit. Then on the inside, I've got a white piece, and I just stamped some of the butterflies in different colors of ink on the inside, just to give it a pop of color. I use this little guy here. And I put a let's see how he's flying like this. Put on my foamy. I put a green guy. Clean him off. And grab a pink one. Clean him off. And then I'll put that was Melon Mambo, Granny Apple. Then I'll put the Bermuda Bay down here. So just, you know, something to jazz up the inside just a smidge with the little butterflies that come on the stamp set from the kit. And I got some of the paste on there. Cut it off a smidge. Then we'll glue this to the inside. Again, it's not going down with the same, there we go. And then that's all done. That's your second card. And now this paper is dry and you're good to go.